The silence of Antarctica isn't natural. It's oppressive, like the world itself is holding its breath. They climb higher, trekking where tourists aren't usually allowed. And then, the claim goes, they saw it. Not a mountain, not a glacier, but a wall. A sheer, towering wall of ice that stretched beyond sight. So massive it felt less like a landscape and more like a boundary. Think about what that would mean. If the Earth isn't what we've been told, if we are fenced in by ice, then everything changes. Every map, every school lesson, every satellite image would be part of the same lie. Governments and corporations would be built on keeping that truth hidden. And here comes the most watched YouTuber on Earth, stumbling right into it, camera in hand. Do you really think they would let that footage see the light of day? Do you think MrBeast, as powerful as he is online, could fight the combined weight of every government signed onto that treaty? Or would he do what anyone in his position would do? Quietly cut the tape, package the rest as harmless fun, and never mention what he saw. Fans noticed something was off. Normally, MrBeast floods social media with behind-the-scenes content. But for Antarctica, large chunks went silent. Rumors spread of odd behavior. Crew members looked shaken, less excited than usual. Insiders whispered about meetings with officials before footage was finalized. Was it simply standard procedure for such a dangerous trip? Or was it something else? Something meant to ensure the wrong scenes never slipped through. And it isn't just him. Celebrities, billionaires, and politicians often take unexplained trips to Antarctica. John Kerry, the U.S. Secretary of State, visited in 2016 during a crucial election week. Why? Buzz Aldrin, one of the first men on the moon, traveled there and tweeted cryptic messages about great evil before evacuation. Prince Harry journeyed there under the guise of charity work. Even Vatican officials have been photographed at the ice. What draws them there? And why do their trips feel more like pilgrimages than vacations? The deeper you look, the more it feels orchestrated. Antarctica is portrayed as lifeless, yet dozens of nations maintain costly bases there. Billions flow into a frozen desert said to have no value. No war has ever been fought there. No colony established. It is the only place on Earth humanity chose not to live. Doesn't that strike you as strange? Empires fought for scraps of desert and islands, but no country claimed the most resource-rich continent, unless they already knew it couldn't be claimed, because it wasn't meant to be. Now place MrBeast into this puzzle. A man who thrives on pushing boundaries, breaking records, exploring the extreme. A man with more reach among youth than most news networks. If anyone accidentally exposed the truth, it would be him. But here's the dilemma. With influence comes pressure. Maybe he was told. Maybe his footage was taken. Maybe he realized himself that some secrets are too dangerous to share. So instead, we get the safe version for YouTube. Survival, icy jokes, a feel-good finale. Yet hidden between the cuts, fans sense an undertone of unease. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. His words feel rehearsed. And for a creator who thrives on authenticity, that silence is louder than any confession. Some argue this is fantasy, that there is no wall, no secret. That MrBeast filmed exactly what he said he did, nothing more. But the conspiracy grows because Antarctica itself is suspicious. Why can't ordinary people explore it freely? Why is it more restricted than nuclear sites or palaces? Why do treaties last decades without revision, while every other agreement in history fractures and shifts? And why do explorers and influencers hint at things they can't explain? The power of this story isn't in proving it beyond doubt. It's in asking why we're not allowed to look for ourselves. If the Earth is as we've been told, why the secrecy, the locked gates, no-fly zones, patrols? And if MrBeast saw the edge of our world, what does that mean for us inside it? Maybe that's why his Antarctica video feels incomplete. Maybe his greatest adventure was realizing he was up against something bigger than YouTube, bigger than himself. The ice wall isn't just a theory, it's a symbol, a reminder that some truths are hidden in plain sight, guarded by those who profit from ignorance. So ask yourself, did MrBeast show us everything he saw in Antarctica, or did he cut the most important footage of his career? Did he survive the cold or stumble into the forbidden? and choose silence to protect his empire? And more importantly, if he couldn't tell us, what else is waiting beyond that wall of ice that none of us are ever allowed to see? What if the biggest YouTuber in the world risked everything to film the adventure of a lifetime, only to realize some truths are too dangerous to reveal? What if one of the most watched men on Earth stood on the edge of the greatest mystery of our planet and chose silence over disclosure? That's the chilling question surrounding MrBeast's journey to Antarctica. A trip packaged as entertainment, but shadowed by whispers of secrets too heavy for a camera lens. He presented it as another challenge, surviving brutal cold and scaling ice. But behind the editing, behind the carefully chosen shots, behind the bright thumbnails and clickbait titles, many believe something else happened. Something he couldn't show, something he wasn't allowed to speak of. Some claim that when Jimmy Donaldson and his team ventured deeper than the average tourist is ever permitted, they encountered the very thing conspiracy theorists have warned about for decades: the wall of ice. Antarctica is more than snow and penguins. It is guarded by law and force, a landmass twice Australia's size locked by treaties and restrictions. You can't simply book a ticket, wander off, and explore. Every inch of your path is controlled. Tourist expeditions keep to the same slivers of coastline. Scientific research bases are off limits. Military patrols enforce invisible borders. And over it all hovers the Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959 by nations that otherwise would never cooperate. Think about that. At the height of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union suddenly agreed to stop fighting over territory and instead lock down an entire continent. When has that ever happened before or since? The official story says they were protecting science and peace, but to many it looks less like cooperation and more like cover-up. You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in the description and join our free underground newsletter.